enormity, but elsewhere. And if you're anything like me, you might be feeling a little overwhelmed by the enormity of decisions that are coming about that feel less than loving. And I find myself thinking, how did we get to this place where it feels like a country that is uncaring for other people and for the planet? How did we get to be a nation that has lost its heart? And then we have to ask ourselves, well, where am I looking? Where am I looking? If I'm looking to the government, if I'm looking to multinational corporations, then yeah, I might come to that conclusion. But the truth is that there is so much good happening all over the world that exemplifies our love for each other. We may have to search it out. Sometimes it comes searching us out. For example, I'm thinking about all of the ways that people came together to help each other during the fires in Los Angeles last month. In particular, Avery Colvert, and if you guys want to put the picture up now, that would be fabulous. Avery Colvert, a 14-year-old teen from Pasadena. Within 48 hours of her school burning down and her whole family having to evacuate their home, she put together this pop-up shopping center. I mean, this is an enterprising little girl. She went out and found an unoccupied warehouse, and she put the word out for donations for evacuees, other teenagers and their families that have found themselves suddenly without clothes or toiletries. And so she and her stepfather, they came up with a platform called Altadena Girls. And word got out, and within hours, people were lining up with bags of clothes to donate. And word began to spread, and it's online, and you'll never believe who heard about it. You'll never believe this. Paris Hilton and Charlie XCX. And they kept posting it and reposting it and reposting it, and suddenly designers and boutiques were coming with their lines and just donating it for free. And people are streaming in, and they're all coming and helping. And not only are they getting these wonderful clothes, probably better than they had before, right? But it also became like a community center where teens in particular could feel supported, where they had this sort of teen support group. It's a beautiful experience, a beautiful example. And it's not just clothing that people have been helping each other with. People have been rescuing pets. And as you have probably heard or seen images of this, there was a lot of pets that were left behind. And animal shelters have been making room in their shelters by other animal shelters outside of LA that came to take the overflow, including Best Friends Animal Society, which is an organization that Dana and I have been supporting for a long time. In fact, we went to visit their original sanctuary when we were in Utah. And they have this beautiful, loving place, and the organization has just grown and become, really so helpful to so many people. So they're taking the pets, and people are offering to be the foster home. They're just taking in pets until they can locate reconnect with their people. I mean, the stories just are so beautiful. Mr. Rogers, right? Fred Rogers, who famously said, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. He would be smiling right now. You know, just his heart warmed to see how many people have stepped up and said, yes, you know, I'll help. Where can I be of help? Going to community centers and churches that are handing out supplies, distributing things, helping neighbors clear the debris and trash. And some people going into neighborhoods and finding things for people who can't get into their neighborhoods, you know, finding any things that have been left. Chef Jose Andres, you know, who's got the World Central Kitchen, he usually goes all over to like war-torn countries and cooks for victims of war and refugees. Well, he came home to California, and I think we have an image of him. Yeah, there he is. Pacific Palisades, which looks like a war zone. And he's set up and he's been cooking for firemen, first responders, and evacuees. Over 50 Los Angeles restaurants offered food for free. YMCA offered free childcare. Psychotherapists, nurses, veterinarians offered their services for free. So did truck drivers and booksellers. In fact, there's one bookstore in particular, All Power Books, that has, you know, transformed their bookstore into a supply center, and they're handing out N95 masks because I don't know if it's still this way, but during the fires, it's toxic. I mean, you just can't breathe that. So the masks and food and toiletries and supplies. You know, it's so beautiful to see. Canada sent these big planes that are sort of, I guess they're retrofitted bombers or something, and they have these huge water tanks. And if you've seen any of the footage, they were flying over the Pacific Ocean really close to the waves, and I guess they had this huge, I don't know, hose or something, and, you know, sucking up all of the water in the ocean until the whole hold is filled with water. And then they fly over the canyons and dump the water on the fire. I mean, it was just extraordinary to see that. Firefighters from Mexico came to fight the blaze alongside, you know, Los Angeles firefighters. The amount of people with hearts that have just stepped up and said, yes, I'm here for you. What can I do? So Michaela Haas, who wrote the article that I found this story about this teenager, she wrote an article for this newsletter called Reasons to be Cheerful, which I have mentioned this before. It's a really wonderful story. So if you're looking for good news, it's like all good news, right? And so she wrote this: we may need to rebuild with steel roofs and sprinklers, or in certain places, we may not be able to rebuild at all. But what remains intact is our solidarity, our knowledge that we all inhabit the same fragile planet, and that we are only as strong as the bonds we form and the hands we hold. And there is this, you see this image a lot on billboards and posters, and there's a phrase going around Los Angeles that is, the love in the air is thicker than the smoke. The love in the air is thicker than the smoke. We saw a similar thing happen here in, North Carolina when the hurricane Helene came through and devastated western North Carolina. Neighbor helping neighbor. People just coming from all over to offer assistance just because they want to help, just because they have love in their heart. Love conquers fear. Always. Always. You know, again, sometimes it doesn't appear that way because the fearful, hateful, shocking news is all we see, right? That gets the attention. The stories like I just shared have to be searched for. But they are there. Not that we shouldn't pay attention to the frightening things. Yes, we should, so that we know what we need to do, you know, and so that we know what's on our prayer list. I'm taking that one and putting it right on the top of the prayer list, right? But we need to balance it out with the thousands of other things that are happening that are expressions of an open heart, of people leading with their heart, opening their doors and doing good in the world. And speaking of doing good in the world, you know, we think of corporations as, you know, only about profit. They only care about profit. Screw everybody else, right? Screw the planet. But more and more, there is an increasing number of companies that are absolutely committed to sustainability, to giving back to communities, to doing good in the world. You may have heard of Patagonia. It's kind of a leader in this, in sustainability, and they keep looking for ways to minimize their impact on the environment. They have this regenerative organic practices, which I don't know what it is exactly, but I think it's good. They use recycled materials. They're a really great place to work for, like, you know, full child care and health care and all of that. Now, Microsoft, you wouldn't think, right? You're like, Microsoft, really? Well, they have an ambitious goal that they set a few years ago that by 2030, they would not only be net carbon zero, but what they said is carbon negative, water positive, and zero waste. That's an ambitious goal by 2030. That's coming up. Now, I think that this was before the advent of AI, which really takes a lot of energy and a lot of water. So I don't know if they're still on track for that. But, you know, we should check on them. You know, this is like, it's up to us. Like, write letters, call them, find out, are you still on track for those goals that you published? You know, just like this, up to us to do this. Cisco has a big presence here in this, in the triangle. And they have like 80% of their employees volunteer. They have volunteer days where, you know, they're paid, and they go out and they volunteer. And they've donated millions of dollars to make a positive impact in communities worldwide. Accenture, this is a huge IT company, and their heart is about refugees. And so they give their funding is for refugees to help them resettlement, help them with funds, help them with legal stuff, help to with professional development, that kind of thing. That's how they are giving back in the world. Salesforce, I think that's a marketing company. They have an initiative called the Trillion Trees, and so far they have planted 43 million trees. That's a lot, right? Now, closer to home, here in the triangle, I just read in the NNO about a affordable housing development that is a huge place. Here it is. They just opened. There's like a lot of units there. And this is, it was cooperation between community donations and the city of Raleigh and some federal funds. And they not only provide affordable housing, so in other words, like just a percentage of whatever the income is, but they also provide mental health care and substance abuse treatments, and they help get people connected with public assistance if they need that, child care. It's just a beautiful thing to see. And it's called Casa Kings Ridge. And the founder of this organization, Molly Painter is her name, and she says upon the opening of this, "Look at the way that God has woven this incredibly unique project and all of us together. I can't wait for our future residents to experience all the hope and joy that we poured into the making of Kings Ridge, a community whose foundation is love." A community whose foundation is love. So you see how important it is to remind ourselves of all of the good in the world, the abundance of good that is here right now, all around. Love is all around, right? Do we see it? It's here, right? It's all around us. In fact, the good far outweighs the bad. And it's good to remind ourselves that we are divinely human. We are both very much human. We're all very human. We're all also very divine. We're all, every single one of us, divine. Because we're an expression of that one divine love, that one love essence. It's who we are. It is our innate nature. And so when we focus on that, and we focus on seeing it in each other, and we focus on looking for the good situations, and we focus on looking for the possibilities, we activate the love. We activate that love that is all around. We're activating it. We're making it come alive. Excuse me. So my husband, I hope you don't mind me sharing your story, but too bad, I'm up here, you're there. You know, he just had cataract surgery on both eyes, and done very well, right? And when they do both eyes, they space it like 2 weeks apart. I know a few of you have gotten it done, so you're going, yeah, I know. And he put this off for like, I don't know, a year and a half because he didn't think he had a problem. You don't know what you're missing if you don't know the difference, right? But after the first one was done, he kept going like this. And he covered the one that hasn't been done, and he looked out the one that had been done. And, oh my God, it's like so clear. It's like the colors are so vivid, right? And then he covered the other eye and then looked out the one that was kind of cloudy and said, oh, wow, this is what I have been seeing. You know? He realized that he had been seeing like through a glass darkly. You know, the metaphor here is pretty clear. Which eye are we choosing to see out of? Are we choosing to see out of the eye that is cloudy, that is filtered, that is seeing the hatred and the division and the separation and the fear? I don't think we want to be hijacked by that. We have the power of choice, and we can choose to see through the eye that is clear, the eyes that can see through and with the eyes of love, and see all of the love that is all around, and hear the birds that are singing, and the bells on the hills. If we choose to see from that place of divine awareness, we have that power of choice. So let's choose to see the good. And when we do, and boy, when we do it together, we activate it in the world. Yes? Yes. Yes. Yeah, and so it is. Namaste.
Yes. I believe we find what we look for, so let's look for all the love. The fog is burning off the grass. It's covered up with diamonds of dew. No matter how far I get, I just can't stop thinking about you. 'Cause you're the one true thing that I still want. You're the one sure thing I really know. What are you going to think? It's been a long time, I know. Will you still be waiting for me? And will our two hearts be in line? 'Cause it's the one true thing that I still want. You're the one sure thing I really know. It's the one true thing that binds us close. We're the one sure thing we're lucky to know. Yeah. It's the big, big love, and it's the only one, and it's the reason. Yeah, it's the big, big love, it's the only one. It's the reason to love and be loved. So I force myself to get up out of bed, go outside and get some fresh air, as I remember just how easily you filled my heart with love. 'Cause you're the one true thing that I still want, and you're the one sure thing I really know. It's the one true thing that binds us so close, the one sure thing that we're lucky to know. Yeah, it's the big, big love, and it's the only one. It's the reason. Yeah, it's the big, big love. It's the only one. It's the reason. Well, it's the big, big love, the only one. Yeah, yeah. It's the big, big love, is the only one. It's the reason just to love and be loved. To love and be loved. To love. To love and be loved.
Well, thank you, Reverend Victoria, for all of those thoughts. And when you had put up Patagonia as the first one, they do things very interestingly, is one way. Like now all of their profits go to the planet, literally. Like the planet is the owner of Patagonia as of last year, I believe. And if you go to a grocery store, now you see Patagonia provisions, because their idea was, well, how do we impact this? They're traditionally a clothing and kind of mountaineering company, all of that, adventure. They're like, well, people buy a jacket every 3 years, but they buy food. So they went into food. So just, yeah, just how things can shift, along with that 14-year-old deciding that, hey, we can have a pop-up bazaar here. Ta-da. So with that, with looking for those possibilities, we have our own community that has possibilities. In fact, if I count well, I don't know, somewhere around 50-some possibilities sitting in this room. But when we come together in concert with those possibilities, we amplify that impact, that change. So when we also give and support this community, we allow it to continue on as well. So I would love for you to figure out whatever that is for you, and there's many ways of doing that. And if you're visiting for the first time, you're trying us on, so don't worry about it. But settle into the love. Why short yourself on this? And whatever way you want to give, many options there on the screen, let's settle into our blessing, which is at the top of that screen, and really allow it to resonate through us. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Invite you to raise your hands to continue that magic on earth, feeling how our combined gifts bring that power of love that is thicker than smoke. Let it envelop this entire planet as it moves through our economy locally, out nationally, globally, comes back to the giver, because the economy is really a flow, and we have engaged it, and it is good, and so it is. Mary is taking the prayer request box out to the foyer, so if there are any requests that you would like to make, there are little cards there, and also you can put them on there, and our trained prayer team prays over them for 30 days. Please avail yourself of that. And we're moving on to anybody here for the first time. If you've gotten a card, great, but if you didn't, we have some available, and if you would be willing to raise your hand and let us get you one of those. All right, you're all old hands. Good enough. If you're new online, if you would just type in the chat, let us know. Our wonderful greeter, Mel, will let you in on anything that you'd like to know. I am going to segue on to the beautiful flowers we have, and we have 2 sets. So I'm not sure if you're all of them. That one, this one. Okay, all right. So Azadeh Dashti, thank you. I hope I said that right. Close enough. Okay. We're going for heart, and the accuracy will come. But the dedication for this is to my parents who have done their best for me to get me where I am. So thank you. Which just highlights how it's the love and the intention that will overcome all of the little details. So with that, I'm going to hand it back over to right now.
All right. Love songs today. That's what we're doing today. So this is another one. But I want to tell you a little story here about love.
Okay.
So I have been known to be on Facebook a little bit sharp at times, and I put out a couple posts, and some of my friends are also sharp. And they get back and forth, and then they start going at one another, and then I get out of it, right? So anyway, I caused this big stir the other day, and my friend Frank and my other friend Kirsten, who lives way out west, they started to get into it, right? And then they started to not get into it, and this morning, Frank, why don't we talk about something else, like having a cup of coffee or something? And it's like, my love opened the door for that. So I am taking credit for that. And that's the title of the next song, by the way. So My Love Opened the Door by The Who. It's very simple words in the chorus. Let my love open the door. That's pretty much it. And so, without further ado, here we go.
And if you need any grease to hit for those hinges for the door, we've got some of that too. All right, thank you. All right, well, we're going to kick it off with some announcements. Normally, we do birthdays on the first Sunday, but we have this annual meeting thing, so we really want to celebrate the both birthdays fully, so we'll do that next week. Okay. So I think first up, we've got mosaic art classes with Teresa. So I'm going to invite Teresa to come up and use the mic and tell us more about all of that. Mm-hmm.
Well, good morning. I had a great pleasure of 2 weekends ago teaching the first class here, and we did Moroccan lamps, and a lot of people came and had a lot of fun. So I've decided to open this weekend's class, the 8th and 9th, to people doing whatever they would like. So you have the opportunity to make a beautiful Moroccan Turkish lamp, or the planned project was 3 small altarpieces. And the altarpieces are a heart, a sacred womb, or a goddess. And in creating these pieces, it's about really anchoring your love, looking back in your own life, bringing some family heirloom treasures and single earrings and that little box of tidbits that you don't know what to do with onto a substrate, and maybe honoring a family member, a lineage of your family, or creating a beautiful heart, which is all about what Reverend Victoria shared. So it's a way of kind of going inside, bringing your creative juices and manifesting, a project together. So this coming weekend, the 8th and 9th, you have the opportunity to come on Saturday and create the project, and then on Sunday after service, we'll grout the project, whether it's a Moroccan Turkish lamp or one of the other substrates, and there's a flyer on the back. And hopefully I'll get these listed, the Moroccan class listed on my website. But if I don't, please just contact me directly and I'll open that up for everyone. So we'd love to have you and be creative together.
All right, thank you, Teresa. And also, we have something, because it's February and Valentine's Day is moving up. So why not combine it with Heart Math with our very own Lorraine Lewis, who you all probably already know is leading the prayer team. And so this is combining some of that wonderful science that supports how this actually works. So if you need your head to come with your heart, this is one way to do it, and it's great. It's love donation based, so you don't even have to be afraid of the price. So it will be happening on Valentine's afternoon from 4 to 5:30. So it's very gentle. It is very accessible. The fact that you made it through this service, you're qualified. Okay? You have run out of excuses. I'm sorry, friends. You're just going to have to come if you want. So please avail yourself of that. All right. Continuing on, as we always have, ways of finding out how to be deeper in this community, and specifically about this community, and we call that Pathways to Community. So coming up Saturday, March 1st, but it is a way to find out how this particular community works. It's also a way of finding more depth about some of the history of Unity and all of that. And this is with Reverend Victoria, so you're also going to get to know a little more with Reverend Victoria as well. So you can take it for fun, but it also, if you're thinking of joining as a member, it is a prerequisite. So this is available. Think about it. And if you know people who are thinking about it, let them know. This is the next opportunity of it. All right. Continuing on to the big deal for today, the annual meeting and potluck. So this is what's happening after the service. After we do the peace song, I will tell you how to set up this room because it's all happening here. So yes, and you will get fed. You do not have to be a member to join in on this. You can come if you like. So it's all of that. There will be some voting, and we'll have a registration piece for the members so that can all happen. But it is all, you want to know more about how this community ticks and all of that? This is the business meeting. which has a lot of heart in it. That happens annually. So we'll get into the whole logistics after the peace song. And finally, 3-minute miracles. So if there's anything stuck in your heart or your head and you haven't quite figured out what to do with that, we have our trained prayer partners, and today it's our wonderful Pat Webster. And after the service, seek her out and be in the foyer. Go to the last door on the left. If you're online, send an email with phone number, and we'll get to those as well. But it is a wonderful way to shift that consciousness. And I'm seeing some nods in the audience, so hey, take advantage of that as well. And because of the annual meeting, we're not going to have our sacred cafe because we're going to have a buffet. We're going to have a feast instead of a cafe. So I think you'll be okay. And no deeper dive discussion because we're going to have the discussion in here as well. All right. I see some children. Maybe we should bring them in.
I am the radiant light for God. I am, I am, I am. I am the radiant light for God. I am, I am, I am. The health of God, the strength of God, vitality, energy, being of God. I am the radiant light for God. I am, I am, I am.
Good afternoon. Hello. I'm Shannon. For those that don't know, this wife I'm director. Big thanks to Lisa. This month we these 3 powerful children up here. Tweens and 2 children. We started talking about the power of strength and sort of recognizing where that strength comes from, where we can source it when we need to, and then also eventually to recognize it in other people. I've challenged the children, and I have pages for you all, to find 33 strengths of your personhood. And it correlates to the vertebra, so you can build a good backbone. But, so if you would like one, come up and grab one. We'll make more copies next week for the children that come. And you have all month to think about it and contemplate it. Okay? Next week, same old. Power of strength and being awesome.
Well, in being awesome, yes, we're going to bless these awesome children with what's on the screen and all the children of the world as well, including the balloon. All right. Together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you just the way you are, and we behold the Christ in you. All right, thank you. Find your families. And if you're able, would you stand up? Let's join in our prayer of protection, following by with the peace song. All right. Together, the love of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let
Could I get your attention? Because we've got some logistics of love to do.
If this video has inspired you, opened your heart, expanded your consciousness, filled you with hope, empowered you in some way, we encourage you to support what we offer here at Unity Center of Peace by making your donation now. And thank you.